Jesse Marsh has been, chatting. He's been doing interviews with our boy, your co-worker, Jimmy Conrad, who's doing the coverage for Fox of the Euros and Copa America, but you see the smirk on Jesse's face. It is like, yeah, you wish you were talking to somebody else right now, huh?
Jesse had been very, very outspoken as an analyst, and critical of Greg openly when he had done work on just the men's national team. So yeah, it does feel a little bit like, hey, puff my chest out. Like,
I love it, because even when Jesse took the job at CBS and started and was on the podcast on Call It What You Want, Jesse Marsh has probably been in that room that you are in right now. and everybody,
the manager? Canada now?
You are next. You are next in line, Cupo. But the fact that that Jesse Marsh has essentially, I mean, look, when he took the job, people were like, why is he getting into broadcasting? Doesn't he want to be a coach? And then, some people are like, well, this is a good opportunity. So more people, you're like on top of people's minds. And then when he took the Canada job, even Jimmy and Charlie were like, bro, are you serious? Well, you're going to take that job? And there's part of me that loves the, like, oh, you thought it was a bad idea, huh? And it's like, my stock is now at another level, because the pride that he has in just having success. Look, and as a coach, when a lot of people have doubted him, but then on top of that, he's also singing "Oh Canada" as well. My man he learned the national anthem, which is not something we usually see from foreign head coaches.
People
of countries.
know "Oh Canada" beyond "Oh Canada." That's all I got.
Okay, I need to go to Rap Genius and get the lyrics. Okay, I did not know there was more to it, but no, this is a huge win. Obviously, Schaffelberg getting the early goal against Venezuela, and then also the mistake, the goal from Salomon Rondon, obviously unbelievable, and to hit the ball. I think it was like 30, 40 yards or something like that over Cupo. But there was something, you were talking about the Canada back line, but there's something to even the midfield. There's a confidence. Estaquio, who I think plays, does he play in Portugal? I forgot where he plays.
I believe so. Or I'm making it up. Either way.
Yeah. But I was just like, yo, these dudes are like, they're no joke, man. Yeah, he plays for Porto.
I feel like we saw these early rumblings of like a new Canada. And they were far more quality than we've seen in the past. And I feel like we've seen this probably over the last very few years, where they seem to have made great strides that I don't know what had been going on, especially with the managerial shift, right? Like, obviously it's very challenging to coach at the national level, because you are kind of, I call it babysitter, right? Because like wherever the players are at club, essentially like that's mom and dad, because they're impacting your day to day, your training, your everything else that goes into making you and the player that you are. And then you get these scant minutes with, your national team coach, and you hope to show out, but like you get such little time to imprint upon players and try to change or cultivate that you always wonder, how do you do? And we know what Jesse Marsh's record had been for club, but what was it going to be? For a first team.
This is why I applaud Canada. I mean, there's been a scrappiness that I think the U.S. didn't show. They're adapting to the difficulty. I mean, we saw even just the amount of fouls, receiving them, doling them out. You know what I mean? Like
saying sorry.
Not even you can't say sorry. No more sorry. All right, that's it. We're done. We're past the sorry stage. All right, and that is where I think Canada is. And not to say that the U.S. didn't play with a lot of like heart or whatever, but there's a scrappiness that I think we're not sort of used to, especially when Canada plays South American teams, because you just assume they're going to be kind of like the outclassed in the quality. Like Canada hasn't scored a bunch of goals, but they haven't given up a lot either. They're not making a ton of mistakes. They're just like, this is what it seems like Jesse Marsh has brought. Like we criticize not even criticize, but we point out that Greg Berhalter, that all the players love playing for him. They would run through a wall for him. There's like, he's brought the guys closer together. And We don't hear any of that with Jesse Marsch. It doesn't. It just sounds a little bit more like, oh no, he's just like, you a dog, all right, you win. And you're not a dog. I can't mess with you.
The dressing room is just like Lord of the Flies. He's like, no,
yeah.
Knuckle boxing. Who wants to start?
Everybody, he's like, yo, give me your best I show speed bark. And he's like, all right, you good, you win. Because that's why that's what has been surprising. And even when when Venezuela tied the game, I was just like, oh, this is over for Canada. And they ended up winning in penalties. And it felt also Yangel Herrera, who played for NYCFC, ended up going to Spain. He plays at Girona now. But and weirdly enough, I was watching his penalty, and I'm like, dude, I want you to make your penalty, not only because he played for NYCFC, but because I actually bumped into him in Amalfi Coast for my honeymoon. I was at this resort in Amalfi Coast, and I'm sitting next to I'm having breakfast, and I see Yangel Herrera there, and as soon as I saw Yangel Herrera there, I said, I'm in a place that is way too expensive. I should not be here. If Yangel Herrera is here, if there's a La Liga player here, I have overspent on my honeymoon.
You're like, excuse me, Mr. Herrera, I'm a fan. And Polanco is like, Christian.
Dude, I was, so I was emotionally invested in that penalty for many, many reasons. But no, impressive win for Canada. They end up playing Argentina next. I believe at MetLife. Can't imagine it'll go too well for Canada there, but if they can hold their own, anything can happen. We saw Messi missed his penalty in their game. Again, anything can happen. So we shall see.
Anything can happen, but I mean, they did beat Canada 2-0 back in June.
Right.
So
exactly.
I mean, and they also outshot them. I guess that speaks more to like the Canada's defense and goalkeeping than anything. But
yeah,
it should be interesting. Also, like Argentina are not new here. It's their 5th straight Copa Ame.
Yeah. They're gonna be fine.
But we love the underdog. So like, come on, Canada.